My dear friends, I hope you've had a beautiful week and a meaningful week, a productive week. This week, of course, has seen the midterm elections in the United States. And it's been interesting for me. I'm an American and been watching my social media, been watching Facebook and the confidence, the great confidence with which everybody espouses their own opinions and the strength and the passion that they do so. And I think that's a healthy thing. I think it's good for people to feel confident in the things that they believe and to try to convince other people. But again, I see very intelligent friends on both sides of the political spectrum, very confident in what it is that they believe in, and what is scary in the world right now, and we're seeing this in an extreme way in America, but it exists all over the world, is this polarization and the inability to really see things from other people's perspectives. We got to believe in our truth. We got to be strong in our proof. But what is going on in America right now is a polarization and an inability to communicate. And it's this lack of communication that we see, of course, in this week's Parsha. The whole story of the stealing of the blessings from, that Yaakov steals from Esav is really a tragedy. I mean, the whole thing is a tragedy. The story of Esav himself is he's a tragic figure, a man seemingly with great power and great potential, but cannot actually actualize it in this world. And we see here a breakdown in communication. Rav Naftali Tzvi Yehuda Berlin says that the breakdown in communication, the fact that Yaakov has to resort to deception, really stems from the nature of the relationship between Yitzchak and Rivka. Already from the beginning of their relationship, when Yitzchak and Rivka first meet each other, we know that Yitzchak is sitting in the field. He's meditating, much like I am here. I'm sitting in a field, not meditating though. Yitzchak is meditating in the field, and Rivka is coming on a camel, and she sees this man like on fire, and she's like, "Who is this guy?" And they tell him they tell her who he is, and she's so overwhelmed that she falls off the horse, the camel. She's so overwhelmed by that experience, and that kind of first kind of encounter really sets the tone for the rest of their relationship, as opposed to Avram and Sarah, who we see talking things out, working things out, not always successfully, but they talk things out. Yitzchak and Rivka never talk things out. Why doesn't Rivka just tell Yitzchak, wait a second, Yaakov is the guy. Yaakov's the future. Esav, he's great, but he's struggling. Why don't they discuss things? Why don't they talk about their fears and their hopes? We don't see that, and as a result, Rivka and Esav and Yaakov need to resort to deception in order to get the blessings. There is no communication, and as a result, there's tragedy. We see this going on in the world. We see the lack of communication, that people not able to bridge the divide, and we see just how important communication is. All the more important when we're talking about communicating with people who you do not see eye to eye with. It's so important for us all to remember that we do not have the full version of truth. We might have a part of it. We might see very deep, important things about the world and the way the world should be. But we don't have everything. We don't understand everything. And what humanity needs right now is somehow, this is going to be the great miracle of the redemption. The great miracle is that we're somehow able to just sit down and talk with each other without tearing each other's heads off. Finding a common ground, common language. We can disagree. We must disagree. We must be passionate about the things that we believe in. But we also must somehow find a way to communicate, to talk, to work out the things, and to find some way forward. We don't have it all. We need each other. This is, I think, the great lesson from this week's Parsha. And please God, my great blessing, my tefillah, for this world, that we find the ability to communicate with each other, to find those things that we share, the humanity that we share together. And please God, that should bring us one step closer to the true redemption, peace, and harmony for all of humanity. Shabbat Shalom.